different, better conditions.
How did you like that music, Dave?
Oh, it's lovely, yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice to hear a bit of Mr. Handel, very uplifting, very positive, and he wrote great tunes. Handel, his tunes are always good. They're sort of memorable. They get the earworm status. I always find that I'm forever afterwards replaying it in my brain. Yeah, well, look, I tell you what, folks. Well, what we'll do is...
in the 20s?
Yeah, I think we might have to.
Oh, we should.
It's just I've got to play the other side of that.
Time machine wouldn't work properly if you didn't.
Well, this is it. You see, it means that we don't get a good continuity. So we have to depart from somewhere, and we'll hear side B of that recording of the 6 Jumping Jacks, the one I played yesterday. And this has also got another crazy title. It's just mad stuff, really. They were a novelty band, but they really knew what they were doing, and it's just great 20s fare. The name of this tune is "The Coat and the Pants Do All the Work, and the Vest Gets the Gravy."
Credit where credit's really due. You've heard that many times before, it's really nothing new. The man who works the hardest, he never gets the dough. And here's another little thing I'm positive you know. Oh, the coat and the pants do all of the work, and the vest gets all the gravy. Now the captains get the bars, the generals get the stars, the soldiers do the fighting, and all they get is scars. Now a baby cries for mama, but he never even recognizes dad. Oh, the coat and the pants do all of the work, and the vest gets all the gravy. The pants do all of the work, and the vest gets all the gravy. Now a dairymaid's a wow, she does her bit somehow, but after all the cheering, you can't forget the cow. Now an onion breaks up friendship, but a billy goat can drive a crowd away.
6 Jumping Jacks from about 1927. Tom Stax was the vocalist, Harry Reeser was the banjo player, and I don't know the names of the others, but they were all good, and they made lots of records and on all the labels. They just knew exactly how to circumvent the copyright of the time, and they just reinvented themselves, and they exist under every pseudonym under the sun. So on Brunswick, they were the 6 Jumping Jacks. An enterprising group, novelty group in the 20s. And poor old Tom Stax, the vocalist, he went to rescue his drum kit and in the Coconut Grove fire in 1930 Mumble and perished in the flames. It's a rather sad story. But he was such a dynamo, and his voice is synonymous with the times. So there we go, the 6 Jumping Jacks, and that's the past band now. I can adjust, and I can feel like we've moved forward. I can move forward into a contemporary time and look at a range of different musics to move forward with. Now, I was going to play I was going to play something else today, something from my own little enterprise this morning. Olivia, my daughter Olivia, is making a film, something schoolish, and she wanted some live music for it. And so she got Kate and I to play a small piece, a little Japanese piece called Reflections. So we put the recorder on and just whipped it up this morning. So I thought I'd share it. It's just a nice little tune and quite sort of soft and reflective. So we'll continue with that for a little bit and then we'll move on with something else. vk3sl. And a little piece called Reflections. I don't even know who the composer is of that work, but it was just a little project, home project, and which we went about this morning. And
Wonderful.
Thank you. And yeah, it was just a few standing waves on that. It's not terribly well recorded, but it's something that it's a theme that she's hoping to use in her little film that she's making. So, yeah, moving forward, we'll see what we can do on from the list now. We can look at the list.
Lovely, sorry.
Oh, no worries. Thank you. No, it's good fun. Nice to do. Now, before I refer to the list, I should mention that the world shook this morning. That was quite an experience.
You've moved.
Yeah, so... yeah, it did. We all went outside, got everybody up, got all the teenagers out of bed, and we all went out the front door, and just in case, because it seemed to be getting stronger and stronger. But it was certainly the most pronounced earth tremor that I've ever experienced, and so yeah, quite an event.
It was the frightening part. It just kept building, didn't it?
Yeah,
And you wondered when it was going to stop building.
That's right. It sort of got to that point. I thought, I think we better just go outside.
No.
Because the house was really rattling with lots of glass in this place. And everything was rattling. And later on, I came out into the booth here, and we had a topple event. We had, some transmitters toppled off those sort of stacks of things in here.
Any damage?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I haven't tried them, but there's a little pile of QRP rigs up on the top shelf, and they all toppled down and smashed a 78. We've got one culprit here.
Oh, no.
We lost a recording of Glenn Miller and his orchestra with Mr. Meadowlark and Moonlight Serenade.
Down just as Glenn went down.
Yeah, that's right. Came a cropper, but I think there's several.
Fall quite as far as Glenn.
No, that's right. And look, there's several copies of that disc here, so I'm not too fussed. I was going to stand it by for today, but we'll leave it for another time. And it was a pile of 78s, and the top one got the rough treatment by the toppling of mitters. So yes, quite an experience. As I said, it's just a new thing. I've never had that. Have you ever experienced an earthquake before or tremor before, Frank?
Yeah, but not as that was easily the strongest. I have felt a couple of little minor shakes, but this was a serious thing.
Yeah, it was all pervasive, wasn't it? It sort of
was.
Yeah, it was quite a pronounced thing. So
It's there's been a few I've felt that about the same magnitude, but a few years back, yeah.
Okay, sure. Have you ever experienced them out in Central Australia or on any of your travels? Because there's probably other places where they're more susceptible.
No. Although I did listen to the coffee break this morning. Roy said he was in Japan checking out some mitters, when he was working there, working for the department.
Yes.
And he was in the factory and everything was falling down and wrecking. He thought he must have been going dizzy, but they just said it was an earthquake.
Right.
And all the fluorescent lights were swinging and bashing and stuff.
Gosh.
So that was his exciting story. They all had amazing... It was all talk about the earthquake today.
Oh, that's good. Well, I'm pleased
They do serious earthquakes in Japan.
Yeah, well, it would have been interesting to hear various tales, especially overseas in Japan. They must be... I suppose they're used to it. But
they wouldn't even think about today's...
No, it would just be like a blip. It'd be probably the sort of thing that happens every second week there. But apparently the plate moved in New Zealand or something, someone told me. But
I think it was Mansfield somewhere.
Yeah, I think it's right. I think that's where the epicentre was, but there was some broader tectonic event. But,
it's interesting. This one, I thought the cats were running on the roof or something, but then it shook for a while. I thought, gee, I hope it finishes soon. Because it did get a bit of a worry there, from being a little of tremor. I hope it doesn't get any worse.
Well, it built up.
That was it. I kept wondering when it was going to stop.
Yeah, it had the crescendo effect. It was gaining in sort of intensity for sure. And that's what sort of prompted me to quickly just get everyone out of, told everyone to quickly get up and get outside because I thought it was going to keep going. But it receded, thankfully. But yeah.
Well, if you're walking down Chapel Street, you could have had a brick on your head.
Yes.
People could have been killed.
Yes, someone showed me that picture of the of some 19th century building with the whole portico collapsed.
What a damage there, yeah.
It's interesting. The one must have been 10 or 15 years ago. I was lying in the front room just on the carpet, just lying there with my ear to the concrete floor. Yeah. And for about a minute or two before we had an earthquake, probably not quite as big as this one, but I felt, there must be trucks. I was hearing the transfer of sound through the ground and the floor.
Oh, my goodness.
And I could hear this rumbling of sound. It's a truck or is it a train? Maybe there's another goods train coming down the line or something.
It might be something from the 84 floors below.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden I started shaking. I thought, it's an earthquake, and I heard the pre-waves coming up.
Okay, you could actually feel it from the earth. How about that? That's amazing. Yeah, through the concrete. Yeah, wow. So, I think, I should have tuned in this morning. It would have been interesting to hear people relay their stories. I'm sure.
I did record it. Look, I've been recording a few lately because they're actually getting quite good.
Oh, good. Excellent.
It's, I don't know, the topics is maybe people are just, think they might just discuss something worthwhile.
Yeah, well, they're probably wanting a bit of a change rather than sort of domestic events.
Roy was hoovering when it happened.
Oh,
and
right.
he thought things were a bit strange, but by the time he turned the hoover off, it stopped.
Yes.
But then people rang him up and said that there'd been an earthquake.
Ah, right, because of course Wednesday's his Hoover Day. Yeah, right. Yeah, fair enough. So he was alerted. Yeah. Okay, well, that's all very dramatic. Well, what I might do now for the next little bit is continue with your list there, your Voyager list. there, Frank.
Okay.
Yeah, we heard number one, which is the Kathleen Battle and Winston Marsalis Baroque duet, Let the Bright Seraphim. That was a very majestic way to open up the program. But you've got 4 others, so it'd be nice to sort of follow on. And, Big Mama Thornton.
Oh, yeah, she's a serious...
give us the rap.
Serious woman.
Yeah, I had to listen to this, and what a track. It's just full of earthiness, and it's talk about earthquake and talk about something that's resigned to gravity.
This is rhythm and blues par excellence, I think.
Yeah, I loved it. Great energy, and from a track from 1952.
This song was later recorded by Elvis.
Oh, was it really? Okay.
Yeah, in 58, I think, or thereabouts, 59.
Sure. When did you first hear it?
I first heard it soon after Elvis did it.
Right, okay.
It's only in the last couple of years I found Big Mama.
Ah, right. Okay, so you got the full perspective of more recent times.
Yeah, but of course she does it far differently to Elvis. It might be, the Elvis version only takes a couple of minutes. Might be, for the sake of comparison, would be worth hearing.
Definitely. No, I'd like to. So we'll play this first, and we'll follow on with the Elvis version thereafter. So yeah, let's have a listen to Big Mama Thornton, Hound Dog, vk3sl.
vk3 Tower.
Nothing but a hound dog, been snooping on the door. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, been snooping on the door. You can wag your tail, but I ain't gonna feed you no more. You told me it was high class, but I can see through that. Gosh, you told me it was high class, but I can see through that. And Daddy, I know you ain't no real cool cat. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, been snooping around the door. You just old hound dog, been snooping around my door. You can wag your tail, but I ain't gonna feed you no more. Oh, bloody oh, listen to them old hound dogs. Oh, it's all right up here. Now listen to that old hound dog howl. Oh, play it, boy, play it. Oh, you make me feel good. Oh, do the mess around and love you. Now wag your tail. Oh, get it. Oh, get it now. Get it. Oh, you hound dog. You made me feel so blue. You made me weep and moan. You made me feel so blue. Yeah, you made me weep and moan. 'Cause you ain't looking for a woman. Are you looking for? You ain't nothing but a hound dog, quit snooping on my door. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, quit snooping on my door. You can wag your tail, but I ain't gonna feed you no more.
Big Mama Thornton from 1952, fabulous track. Love its earthiness.
Yeah.
Let's place it in sharp relief with Mr. Pelvis.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog, you're crying all the time. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time. Well, you ain't never caught a rabbit and you ain't no friend of mine. Well, they said you was high class, well, that was just a lie. Yeah, they said you was high class, well, that was just a lie. Yeah, you ain't never caught a rabbit and you ain't no friend of
There we have it, Elvis. His big number one record, 11 weeks on the top of the charts.
Nowhere near as good either.
Yeah, I like they're different. They're completely different
They are,
sort of concepts of the piece.
I think hers had a lot more gutsy appeal.
Yeah, totally.
CLJ.
Yeah, g'day. How are you?
Leighton.
Yeah, we're sampling Frank's 5 Voyager records today. And these are records to send
Wonderful
off
stuff.
into the ethers. So yeah, we just heard a couple of versions of Hound Dog, including Elvis just then. Yeah.
The last one, I actually been in Sun recording studio. It's a museum these days.
Oh, you've been there?
Yep, been in there. Very interesting.
Oh, marvellous. Did it have much of the original gear in there, Leighton?
Yep, just about all of it actually. Though someone's gone to a lot of trouble. I had what's his name? Hang on, I'll think of his name.
Yeah. That's all right.
Al Perkins. Oh, it's the owner.
Jerry Lee Lewis's piano
Oh, okay.
with the mark, with the cigarette or cigar mark that he always dobbed in one of the keys, particular key, I forget which one it was. And there were 2 or 3 of them around the world.
Yeah.
Another one I saw in Japan that was
Had his
well
signature mark, so he could reference, quick reference point on the keyboard. Yeah, well, that sounds quite intriguing. The Sun Studios. Wow, I think they had a Yard console, didn't they? One of those Harris Yard consoles or something. But no, I enjoy reading about these early recording outfits.
That was actually on RCA
Oh, was it? Okay.
after he left Sun.
Right. Yeah. Fair enough. Well, that's great, Len. Thank you for sharing that. That's most interesting. So, yeah, Hound Dog is number 2 on your list. And we'll keep going now with The Golden Wedding, another Woody Herman track, this one from 1940. And it's a classic. It's probably the classic swing record of its times. Give us the rap.
I used to. Let me just back off the game here.
Yeah, sure.
I went to dancing classes in primary school
Yep.
at the Blind Institute, and it was. I didn't really like going, but because I wasn't quite old enough to appreciate what was on offer there. But I loved The Golden Wedding, and I knew my dancing teacher had it, and she said that if we behaved ourselves, she would play for me The Golden Wedding at the end of the lesson. So that kept me in order, and because I always wanted to hear The Golden Wedding, and so I'd always associated with those early days of the dancing class.
Oh, marvellous. That's a great story. Early formative experiences. They stay, they endure, don't they?
Sure do.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's a great record. It's got some fabulous China cymbals in the middle.
Great clarinet.
And, clarinet's incredible. And that long note, he goes for about 30 seconds, I think. It's one of the,
big breath control.
yeah, it's one of the most sustained notes at the very end. And of course, it's a swing take on the tune La Cinquantaine, and which is The Golden Wedding, but it was an Edwardian sort of potboiler song. In fact, some time ago, I made a cylinder of that song. I think I've mentioned the story before with Mr. L. He was doing some experiments. And,
Oh, really?
And I recorded on the cello. I played it on the cylinder machine. So there's a cylinder out there of me playing La Cinquantaine, but back in the early 2000s, mid 2000s. So yeah, bit of an interesting experience that was. Well, let's have a listen to your choice, and it'll be nice to hear a good quality copy of it, because all the ones I got here are worn out. So we'll go to the tube or hear a Decca record from 1940. Woody Herman. go. The Golden Wedding, Woody Herman from 1940. And that drum solo was Frankie Carlson. Classic track. And that long note, it's like a laser beam. It's incisive. It's sort of so forward-looking. It's an incredible arrangement, really. It's sort of the zenith of swing recordings, really. Oh, I'm sorry, I got you faded down. Didn't mean to have that down. There we go. We're back in the zone now. Sorry about that. Yeah, so thank you. Great selection there, Frank. Yeah.
It's just about my favourite swing recording.
Yeah. It's certainly the.
I can remember both my sisters and the youngest sister of my mother dancing to this at a party once. It's a very strong memory of that.
Great.
There's 20 years difference between me and my sisters, Steve.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So they obviously it's sort of in the family DNA a bit then, this piece.
Yeah, that was their era.
Yeah. Sure. Very much. Yeah. Good one. Oh, that's a nice memory. Yeah, I remember my father had a Festival 78 of this, which I remember listening to. In fact, I think I broke it. But yeah, I do remember hearing it as a young kid and was enjoying it and was sort of waiting for that long note.
It's terrific. There's the drum work in it as well.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Carlson, marvellous. His China cymbals, I love it, they splash.
That lovely cymbal thing that he does, yeah.
It's got real colour to it, those the cymbals in the kit he's using. I'd like to find out more about what sort of kit he was using, because it's quite a, he had a real smorgasbord of different drum textures in that.
Used them all.
He did, and of course the jungle beat underneath, underscoring the whole thing as well. Yay. Oh, that's good. Great choice. Well, I think you've got a Flanders and Swan as your next.
I did, yeah.
Yes, Ill Wind, Flanders and Swan. Great duettists.
Well,
yeah.
This is, of course, lyrics. Just hold on a second, please.
Yes, of course. That's fine. I'll do the proverbial cue while... yeah. You right? You're back on board?
I'm having a bit of problem.
Okay. That's all right. Take as much time as you need. There's no hurry. I'm just doing a cue up now. Looking for the recording of Flanders and Swan. Very much. Yeah. Do you need to back off the power a bit or something?
Just hold on.
Yep, sure. But, yeah, two English duettists, Flanders and Swan. They did...
signal now.
It's okay, but it's just choppy.
Okay, I'm having a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, it's holding up nicely, yeah.
I've just backed the power off a bit.
Yeah, that's fine. There's no problem at all.
It's cutting out when I do full power for some reason.
Okay, sure.
We're talking about the Flanders and Swan recording.
Yes, indeed.
It is lyrics composed to the tune of a Mozart horn concerto. The movement of I think it's the third movement of Concerto 4.
Oh yes, the rondo.
That's the one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's brilliant, I think. The lyrics are brilliant, and it's just a fun thing.
Yes, that's right. This is a piece that's very familiar in this household, and I think we actually sampled it as well on an early emissions, and Mr. H played along with it.
Yes, that's right. It was wonderful. That was a super good. I'd love to have a recording of that actually.
Yeah, it'll be on one of the missions archives somewhere. But that was a lot of fun. If I can dig it up, I'll send it to you. But yeah, we'll listen to the original now, Flanders and Swan, Ill Wind, and this is a real treat. It's quite amazing how they cram so many lyrics within the rondo theme. I think we're ready to go.
It has long been my earnest wish to improve the standard of the music we have in these shows of ours.
Thank you very much.
Not at all, my dear sir. Nothing, but you know that nobody has a higher opinion of your work than you do yourself. I simply meant we should have some more good music. And to this end, I have been practicing the horn, or French horn, as they call it. German horn, as the French call it, not to be confused with the cor anglais. It's a marvellous instrument. I took it up because I very much wanted to play the music of Mozart, in particular his wonderful horn concerto in E-flat, Kirchel rating 495, which he wrote at the age of about 18 months. He's a marvellous man. I practiced it very hard against considerable opposition, I may say, and I had hoped this evening to give you the very first performance of the last movement, the Rondo Allegro Vivace. Owing to curious circumstances, as yet unexplained, I am not able to do this. I can only tell you why. I once had a whim and I had to obey it to buy a French horn in a second-hand shop. I polished it up and I started to play it in spite of the neighbours who begged me to stop. To sound my horn, I had to develop my embouchure. I found my horn was a bit of a devil to play, so artfully wound to give you a sound, a beautiful sound, so rich and round. Oh, the hours I had to spend before I mastered it in the end. But that was yesterday, and just today I looked in the usual place. There was the case, but the horn itself was missing. Oh, where can it have gone? Hasn't anyone seen my horn? Oh, where can it have gone? What a blow! Now I know I'm unable to play my allegro. Who swiped that horn? I bet you a quid. Somebody did, knowing I found a concerto and wanted to play it, afraid of my talent at playing the horn. For early today, to my utter dismay, it had managed to wait like the dew in the morn. Tootie. I've lost that horn. I know I was using it yesterday. I've lost that horn. Lost that horn. Found that horn. Gone. The stock I chose. I willingly pay a reward. I know some hearty folk whose party jokes pretending to hunt with a quarn. Gone away, was it one of them took it away? Will you kindly return that horn? Oh, where is the devil who pinched my horn? I shall tell the police I want that French horn back. I miss its music more and more and more. Without that horn, I'm feeling sad and so forlorn. Oh, 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 oh. I found a concerto and wanted to play it this way. I tell him to play the horn, but early today, to my utter dismay, it had totally vanished away. I wanted to play it, but somebody took it away. I practiced the horn and was longing to play it, but somebody took it away. My neighbour's asleep in his bed. I'll still make him wish he were dead. I'll take up the tuba instead. Wah, wah.
There we go, Flanders and Swan, Ill Wind, and yes, I think Mr. H's siblings could relate to some of the sentiments expressed in that song there.
I guess so.
It's it's very clever. All their recordings are just they're
still giggling.
Yeah, they're just so quick, aren't they? And it's a great vaudeville tradition that they embrace, and they really had their zenith in the 60s, didn't they? 50s and 60s.
Yeah, and perhaps 70s as well.
Yeah.
They plateaued, and certainly they didn't much go beyond 70s anyway.
Yeah.
Who's playing the piano?
Don Swan.
Yeah, Don Swan plays the piano.
I've never known. I always wondered, but I didn't know that.
Yeah, and Flanders is in a wheelchair, I think, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
That's right. He had polio, I think, or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't know that either.
Yeah, I've got the full CD set. There's about 6 CDs at the top of a hat, I think the name of the...
And then there's the drop of another hat.
That's right, yeah. So
some other particular individual concerts, I think.
Yes, that's right.
You've got them all, have you?
Yeah, they were put out as an anthology, and someone gave it to me as a present. In fact,
what a great present.
Yeah, Mr. ECG, who does listen in.
Yes.
Yeah, he gave them to me a long time ago.
Wonderful. Well chosen, Mr. ECG.
Yeah, so that's always been a nice companion, so I always enjoy their stuff, Flanders and Swan. So, yeah, fabulous choice. Well done. That's great. Now, the next one I'm going to get a bit of a... won't be a strike, but if you're listening online... I will keep this tube on because the online thing going, but you will lose this track if you're listening to it downstream. So you'll hear it live, but I'll have to excise it tomorrow because the copyright people don't like Beatles songs. But I want to play it because I want to sort of preserve the continuity of your choice there, Frank, your 5 items.
Oh, yes, thank you.
So we'll stick it on and I'll just do the manual excise tomorrow. So just a warning, if you're listening in hindsight, there will be a cut and you'll probably make sense of it. So, you'll just need to look it up yourself and have a listen if you want to form some continuity. But, we're going to hear I'm Only Sleeping. So, tell us about this, Frank.
It was composed by John Lennon and sung by him, but with the Beatles backing him. And it picks up on feelings of lying half awake in the morning and just wanting to stay in bed and just vaguely observe what's going on around you, but not really taking too much interest, and your observations blending in with your dreams. And I think John picks up on this really, really well, and I like it a lot.
Oh, that sounds great. Thank you. I'm Only Sleeping, and what a extraordinary sound world he creates on that track, including in sounds in reverse, some retrograde effects. Oh, sorry, I got the wrong fader down. My apologies. But thanks for that. The great selection and the reverse sound effect, retrograde effects there.
Yeah, there's a lot of a bit of psychedelic stuff happening there because it was the swinging 60s, and the Beatles were into that sort of stuff, quite a bit.
Yeah, sure, they were. But some really interesting textures there, and but it's a great topic actually, and because I think we all experience that sort of it's that awake but not awake feeling.
Yeah, I think he sort of picked up on it pretty well.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think the Beatles, in looking back in time, they're pretty good and innovative. Whether they could have continued, John Lennon got shot, whether it would have actually, they've done their bit, maybe they'd burnt out, they'd never be the same, but, you can always wish, I suppose.
Yeah.
Left a pretty good legacy anyway.
Oh, it's only a short time, really, and it's amazing. They've totally, that's the pop music scene, they're right up there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it sort of all happened within about 6 years, really, didn't it? It was 63, 64, maybe a bit more.
Yeah, till they broke up. It wasn't that long.
Yeah. When did they break up? 70, 71, or was it before that?
Oh, the last album was sort of late 69, 70.
Right. So, it's a flash in the pan, really, isn't it?
Well, it's 7 years.
I suppose so. 7 years is something, yeah.
Watching the last blast they made in the rooftops of London about a week ago on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, the Get Back thing was pretty remarkable on the rooftop there.
That's the one.
So was it a concert event? Were they performing?
Yep, they just spontaneously jumped up onto the roof apparently and had a Marshall stack or something like that, and they just blasted everybody. And you see people standing out down in the street just looking up at the building, and everyone with their eyes and mouths wide open. Oh,
how amazing, like a flash mob experience.
Yep, and they've gone back and remastered some of those off the original 35mm film instead of the terrible television versions you get, and they're sparkling quality, sparkling sound. It just looks like it was done yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. It's good they've taken that initiative. There's so much interest. I notice, Mr. Stew, that your Beatles films have been getting some good hits in the last little while. They did take off in the end.
Yeah, I think it's one of the highest rating things. That and the closure of Radio Australia, I think, are the biggest hits.
Yeah, they're both featured really well.
Although, of course, that's not my work, so it doesn't really count.
Oh, it's okay. It's good.
Yeah.
It is.
Pulled it together.
You put it up there. You took the initiative. You copied it and sorted it out. The Beatles material was slow to take off. It was sort of just dripping for a while, and then suddenly, boom! It's I've noticed you've got tens of thousands of hits now, so that's good.
Look, some things take off. Look, I think, I don't know. You need to be discovered. You have the best thing in the world, and it never gets discovered. it's, I don't know what there's no algorithm, it's just luck, I think.
I think it might be. It's just the way the planets align at any given time. But yeah, very good. Well, it'd be nice. It would have been good to play a lot more Beatles on the program, but every time I play something, I've got to manually excise that. Otherwise, I lose the log. So it's
Maybe
just,
we could do a special on a Friday night.
yeah, we probably could, and then just sort of stall the stream, and then people can. I don't know if I want to test the system and stream more than one in a row either.
Okay.
Because you seem to be okay with the copyright 99% of the time. It's just that with occasional things, they'll do what they do with the Beatles. They'll just they tell me I've got to cut it out if I want to keep the file up there. But I wouldn't want to push it. I reckon if I did 2 or 3, and it might sort of create a.
You might go down the drain.
Well, I might lose my.
Like Mr. Hare, to lose everything.
That's right. Well, that's it. I see. There's about 350 programs on that site now, and it would be a shame if they disappear. So a number of them are only archived there. I've got logs of quite a few of them, or most of them, from a certain point, but a number of them are uniquely on that forum.
Maybe you should think about, just dumping them onto BitChute or something, just in case.
Yeah, I might speak to Mr. Newbeck and see if I can do a bulk transfer. He might have a system where I could just migrate them to another platform.
Well, you can. Some of those platforms, you can just fill in a few things and it translates your YouTube to their platform.
Oh, really?
Just instant. Well, it's fast. I mean, it doesn't go via you.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I've been loath to do it, but apparently it works. I mean, like that's what Mr. EEB blog. He just sent in the form, and everything went somewhere else.
I think that's what he might have done with Library. One of those. Yeah, I subscribed to Library after hearing him talk about that. And but I never sort of got my mind around it. It seemed to be a bit complicated, a bit convoluted. So,
but I don't think
it's probably not difficult. You just got to spend a bit of time.
It's worth doing. Like I'm thinking of putting up, keeping my main site has everything on it.
Yeah.
But setting up a special radio site, ham radio and retro stuff.
Yes.
And call it some name, and it might get more hits.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
Maybe a travel site or something, so it's not all mixed together, and people know that they go there, they're going to get mitters and stuff.
Yes.
Instead of someone on the gun barrel highway, which they've got no interest in. So you really do need, I think, that's what they say, specify your site for what it is.
Yes.
And of course, you could get massive hits because music is the biggest thing on YouTube. If you played the cello and maybe played some classical stuff, a bit of pop stuff, you could get mega hits.
Oh, I don't know.
But people just plonk, average musicians, they get like millions of hits.
Yeah, but I think it's got to have a certain appeal, or it's got to have something that people can relate to.
Identifies you, and you've got a different style to anyone else.
Yes, it's got to be something that's really personal and individual.
You've got the background. I mean, you could actually, get. It doesn't matter, but. I'm sure anyone with some competence in the instrument could actually have a pretty good channel going if they knew how to market it.
Yeah, I think it is marketing, and it's knowing how to pitch it right, to find your demographic and to contain it all. And one thing is that you don't really have to have high production values anymore. That's sort of no longer a requisite. It seems like a lot of really successful YouTubers have fairly low production values in terms of just the video, production side of things for that type of material. But for radio stuff, I don't know. Yeah, who knows? It's probably worth looking into, but I probably should look at migrating some of the material anyhow, just to keep it safe in the longer term. But, well, let's move forward with some more music. There's a 78 of Jimmy Shand and the band, and I think it's a barn dance or something, but just to change your pace. And I don't know what it's called. Doesn't really matter, really. We'll just have a listen.
Good for the progressive barn dance.
I think so. Barn Dance, Jimmy Shand and the band.
Very good.
And yeah, look, those laminated Australian 78s pressings are just, when they're in good condition, they are really, really quiet. And, it's hard to believe that was a 78.
What label?
It's I think it's a Parlophone. I'll just hold it up. Yeah, it is. It's a Parlophone. See, it's in perfect condition.
Well, it's very quiet.
It's really, really quiet. So, it's interesting. I think most of the records here are very worn, hence the problems we have. But that's an instance. The next one's in good condition too, actually. It's a 78 of Ethel Smith playing the Hammond organ. And she's accompanied by one of the sort of in-house Decca ensembles. I can't remember who. I can have a look and see. Victor Young is going to accompany Ethel Smith, and it's a bit of a classic, I've Got Rhythm. So let's have a listen to this. Such high geek value. Ethel Smith.
Energetic.
Wow, taking it away on the Hammond organ with accompaniment. That was out there. I like that record. That, definitely gets the big geek tick of approval. That one does. Yeah, how about that? Ethel Smith. I don't know anything about Ethel Smith, but she certainly knew what she was doing on that Hammond organ. And early recordings of the Hammond, we sort of featured a number of those early electronic instruments, the Novacord, the Mellotron, Hammond organ, and it was the burgeoning age after the Second World War where electronic instruments all started to find a place in the popular culture.
Hammond got taken up big time by jazz musos, of course.
Yeah, that's
Jimmy
right.
Smith and people like that.
That's true. And those wonderful recordings of Mr. Waller playing the Hammond.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, they go without saying. They're magnificent. So, they all had a go, but I thought that had a particular vibe. Another one from a little bit later, I think. This is Joe Finger's Car.
Oh, yeah, he's good.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a classic because this record does turn up a lot. It's a recording made for Capitol in the early 50s, I presume. Portuguese washerwoman.
456.
Ah, right. This is vk3sl.
VK3JR.
Joe Finger's Car and Portuguese Washerwoman.
Excellent.
Yeah, these records down. I was sifting, looking for some Calypso stuff actually, which I'll have to keep
What's on the
looking
other
for.
side of that, Steve?
Yeah, I'll have a look. I'll hold it up. Let's see. Side B, Lucky Pierre is the name of the song.
I know a song called Lucky Pierre, but it's a Tom Lara's song.
Okay, right. Oh, should we give it a whirl?
Yeah.
Why not? Let's play side B, and it gives me a chance to see if I can find this Harry Belafonte disc, which I can't seem to find. But let's have a listen. Joe Finger's Car. Joe Finger's Car.
Yeah.
Lucky Pierre, side
Okay.
B. Yeah, it's all very sort of nice and pretty. And yeah, light classics. And I was trying to find a recording of Harry Belafonte, which I sort of woke up in the middle of the night with this tune in my brain. And I know I've got the 45 of it here somewhere, but I can't dial it. So what I will do is look on YouTube and we'll find it there. And it's one of his hits, but thought a bit of a calypso vibe might be nice. It's Jamaica Farewell. Let's have
Down the way where the nights are
That's
gay.
right. So yeah, have a listen to a bit of calypso stuff.
Down the way where the nights are gay and the sun shines daily on the mountain top, I took a trip on a sailing ship, and when I reached Jamaica, I made a stop. But I'm sad to say I'm on my way. Won't be back for many a day. My heart is down, my head is turning around. I had to leave a little girl in Kingston town. Sounds of laughter everywhere and the dancing girls swaying to and fro. I must declare my heart is there, though I've been from Maine to Mexico. But I'm sad to say I'm on my way. Won't be back for many a day. My heart is down, my head is turning around. I had to leave a little girl in Kingston town. Down at the market you can hear ladies cry out while on their heads they bear. Ackee rice, salt fish are nice and the rum is fine any time of year. But I'm sad to say I'm on my way. Won't be back for many a day. My heart is down, my head is turning around. I had to leave a little girl in Kingston town. Down the way where the nights are gay and the sun shines daily on the mountain top, I took a trip on a sailing ship, and when I reached Jamaica, I made a stop. But I'm sad to say I'm on my way. Won't be back for many a day. My heart is down, my head is turning around. I had to leave a little girl in Kingston town. Sad to say I'm on my way. Won't be back for many a day. My heart is down, my head is turning around. I had to leave a little girl in Kingston town.
Mr. Belafonte and one of his big hits. That's a record I grew up with. My old man had that disc. And yeah, it just suddenly dawned on me and I thought, well, we probably should feature a few Calypso records because that was a big movement in the 50s and 60s. It was all happening, Calypso spirit. And Mr. Belafonte is still with us. He's still ticking.
Is he really?
Yeah, born in 1927 and still hanging in there.
My God.
So, yep, he's got the... whatever he was having out there in the Caribbean has kept him in good. Maybe all those bananas, because he did Deo, didn't he? And the Bananas Boat song.
Is that or the rum?
Yeah, it might be the rum. Yeah,
Must be a good age.
Yeah,
That's right.
1927. So he's 90 something.
94.
Yeah, thereabouts. Yeah, that's it.
Day-o, day.
Yeah, that's the one.
Well done.
Oh, well, we should dial
Is
it.
that Dave in the background?
I think it might be. Yeah, your cameo has given us the.
Oh, Belafonte, songs are they're just that tropical, that feel, that just relaxed feel.
That's
of the
right.
50s, palm tree, the surf coming in.
Yes, all these places we can't go to. Let's have a listen to the Banana Boat song, Deo. It's Harry Belafonte, and of course we've got to follow that on with the spoof,
Freeberg, absolutely.
with the spoof of that song. So we'll hear them in tandem, and yeah, this will be the way to travel. There we go. Yes, here we have Harry Belafonte.
Deo,
day, oh. Daylight come and me want go home. Work all night and a drink a rum. Daylight come and me want go home. Stack banana till the morning come. Daylight come and me want go home. Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. Daylight come and me want go home. Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. Daylight come and me want go home. Live 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot bunch. Daylight come and me want go home. 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot bunch. Daylight come and me want go home. Day is a day, oh. Daylight come and me want go home. Day is a day, is a day, is a day. Daylight come and me want go home. A beautiful bunch, a ripe banana. Daylight come and me want go home. Hide the deadly black tarantula. Daylight come and me want go home. Live 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot bunch. Daylight come and me want go home. 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot bunch. Daylight come and me want go home. Day is a day, oh. Daylight come and me want go home. Day is a day, is a day, is a day. Daylight come and me want go home. Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. Daylight come and me want go home. Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. Daylight come and me want go home. Day-o, day-o. Daylight come and me want go home. Day is a day, is a day, is a day, is a day, is a day. Daylight come and me want go home.
That was Harry Belafonte's magnum opus Banana Boat song, Day-o. From what year, Frank? Mid-50s?
7.
Okay, well, very shortly thereafter followed a spoof on that song. Stan Freberg took him to town.
Day-o, day-o, daylight come and me want go home.
Wow, man,
Is it-
I'll have to ask you not to shout like that.
Well,
It's like right in my ear, man.
well, it goes with the song.
Yeah, but don't holler in my ear,
Well,
man.
it's authentic calypso.
Yeah, but like
shout.
why stand next to me, man?
Well, the shout go with the bongo drums.
Well, not my bongo drums, man. I mean, move away.
Well,
like.
I don't see why.
No. Stand
well,
over next to the guitar, man.
He sent me over here.
Yeah? Well, then sing soft, man. You know, I mean, like, wow.
Okay.
It's too loud, man.
Day.
That's better.
He's a day, he's a day, he's a day, he's a day, he's a day. Oh, daylight come and me want go home.
Yeah, man.
Work all night and a drink of rum. Daylight come and me want go home. Stack banana till the morning come. Daylight come and me want go home. Live 6 foot, 7
man.
foot, 8
Hold it,
foot
man.
bunch. Daylight
Too loud, man. Too loud.
6 foot, 7
Hold it,
foot,
man.
8
Hold it
foot
man.
bunch. Daylight
My ears, like my ears.
day.
No, hold it, man.
He's a day.
It's too shrill, man. It's too piercing.
Yeah, well, I don't see why.
No, it's too
I
piercing,
can't,
man. It's too piercing.
Well, I got to do the shout.
No, man, it's too piercing. Like I don't dig loud noises.
Well, you ruined the whole
Piercing.
record, is what you do.
Yeah, well, tough. I'll take my bongos and go, man, because the whole thing is like bugging me anyhow.
Yeah, well, wait a minute. I won't
No,
shout.
I'm cutting,
no,
man,
no.
like I didn't want to make this gig in the first place.
No, wait a minute. I'll be soft.
Yeah? Well, then back off from me, man. It's too piercing.
Okay? How's this?
Day-o.
Too loud, man.
Okay? Day-o.
Too loud, man. I can still hear you. Would you mind leaving the room?
Okay.
Crazy.
Daylight come and me want go home. Daylight come and me want go home.
A beautiful bunch of ripe banana.
Daylight come and me want go home.
Hide the deadly black tarantula.
Daylight
Oh, man, don't sing about spiders. I mean, ooh,
Well-
like I don't dig spiders.
Well, that's how the song goes. See, goes,
Hide the deadly black tarantula.
Daylight come and me want go home.
Is that it? Can I leave now?
oh, not yet. We got a big finish.
Yeah, man.
I locked myself out.
Crazy.
I come through the window.
Daylight come and me want go home.
Wow.
I don't know how they kept a straight face making that.
Just brilliant.
It is. He's so on the ball, isn't he? He just mimics the style so well. He does it with Elvis, and he does it with the Rock Island Line, and all those spoof records are just.
Gets them all right, doesn't he?
He does, and he just slightly exaggerates everything, and of course, then intermingled with all of the comedic
Lee
stuff. as
Ray
well.
was terrific.
Yeah, with Try.
The one.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Yes. Yeah, well, I'm thinking of Calypso. I remember that the Seekers made some good Calypso songs. They did a song called Myra, and it suddenly dawned upon me just then. So,
Many boats in the harbour.
yes, that's the one. And it suddenly, I remember this song, and I remember it was full of viv, and it was great, and Calypso, and summer's approaching, and all of that. So let's go with Myra. vk3sl testing.
And vk3jr on 2 meters.
Myra, Myra, many boats in the harbor, gonna go down south to make penny $1 and shake up the body, shake up the body.
The Seekers in their golden era, mid-1960s, and their take on Myra. I wonder who else recorded that song. Are there other versions around?
I haven't heard any.
Yeah, I associate that with them. So, yeah, good to hear the Seekers. That's always sort of like a breath of fresh air hearing Judith Durham's voice.
She just makes them, doesn't she?
Yeah, she's just got such a true sound to her voice. She would have been an incredible opera singer.
Without her, they would have just been a very ordinary group.
Oh, totally. That's it. No, she is the glue, and she must have had perfect pitch, and because she's absolutely in tune all the time.
Yes, she is.
There's never. She's exactly right. Now, when any instrumentalist plays really well in tune, everything resonates really well. There's a natural sort of harmonic, overlay and things to sort of work. And but you get that with her. It's a natural resonance from being so well in tune. And no, I'm glad she didn't go into opera. I'm glad she did what she did because she was one of the great singers, especially one of the great folk singers. And what they did was something incredible. And even the recordings they made later on, in more recent times, they lost none of their magic, really, the Seekers.
They had reunions, didn't they?
They had a number of reunions. I was really wanting to, I really would have liked to have heard them. I would have liked to have gone to the concert hall and heard them. They had several in the 90s and one or two in more recent times. But it wasn't to be.
Judith's still with us.
Yeah, she's going strong. Yeah, she had a stroke not that long ago.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, I met her sister Beverly Shear at.
Well, Dan Leighton knows Beverly very well.
Oh, okay, right.
Well, the Leighton's still there, but I'm sure he'd tell you about Beverly.
Okay, very good. She's lovely. She was telling. Yeah, he's telling us all about the family.
I'll get him to tell you next time.
Okay, yeah, we'll hear something about Beverly. And
she's come to U3A Jazz.
Oh, has she really? She's come to your group?
Yes,
wow.
She has.
Oh, marvellous. Okay, very good. Yeah, no, Judith would be someone I'd like to meet and just thank her because I just think that she's like a shining light, really. Yeah, just someone, just a really positive force in popular music.
Yeah, she has.
She had her own internal demons and things, but she, was able to find a pathway and just make a lot of people feel good, and without drawing too much attention to herself. I thought that's one of the great things, her sense of humanity. Yeah, well, anyhow, it's getting to that point on the clock. Look, let's wind up with another Seekers song. I played this regularly because it's my favourite Seeker song. It's one of their Bob Dylan tunes. And so we'll hear this and we'll come back. We'll be back again tomorrow. I'll see if I can find a Twilight Zone to follow on with after this episode, or after this song. So thank you. Thanks, Frank. And thank you for your 5 Voyager pieces.
Great.
That was fabulous. Great way to start the program, and I'm sure we all enjoyed those. That was really good. Have to think of a second and third voyage, and we'll keep them going. It's going to take me a long time to find mine, but I will.
Yeah, I'll see you later on then.
Yeah, thanks, Dave.
I'll practice my Harry Belafonte
impersonation. Yes, definitely. Please do.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, if you've got a 5.
Thanks, Frank and Steve.
Oh, cheers! All the best, Leighton.
We were just talking about Beverly Sheehan.
Yeah.
And we're hoping that next time you come on, you'll tell us about your relationship with Beverly and how she came to U3A.
Yeah, it'd be good to hear.
You might be singing in summer school this year too.
Oh, right.
Yeah, excellent.
Okay. Oh, look, so save up some anecdotes. Like to hear them. And, all right. Well, gentlemen, thank you all. And any 5 pieces that you think could go on the next Voyager mission, drop me a line, and I'm very happy to queue them up. But, Frank, thank you for being the first cab off the rank. And, so thanks all. Catch up tomorrow. We'll now hear the Seekers with The Times They Are Changing.
Catherine J.R. Clear.
That? Oh, I can tell you all about that. Overlooking Canberra's proud new civic square is a gigantic lady named Ethos. She symbolises the spirit of the community. Well, she doesn't exactly symbolize the spirit of some of the communities that I know.
Well, I think what the book really means is it's the spirit of an ever-changing world.
Come gather round people wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around you have grown, and accept it that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving, then you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone, for the times they are a-changing. Come writers and critics who prophesy with your pen, and keep your eyes wide, the chance won't come again. And don't speak too soon, for the wheel's still in spin, and there's no telling who that it's naming, for the loser now will be later to win, for the times they are a-changing.
Come senators, congressmen, please heed the call. Don't stand in the doorway, don't block up the hall, for he that gets hurt will be he who has stalled.
There's a battle outside and it's raging. It'll soon shake your windows and rattle your walls, for the times they are a-changing.
Come mothers and fathers throughout the land, and don't criticize what you can't understand. Your sons and your daughters are beyond your command.
Your old road is rapidly aging. Please get out of the new one if you can't lend your hand, for the times they are a-changing.
The line it is drawn, the curse it is cast. The slow one now will later be fast, as the present now will later be past. The order is rapidly fading, and the first one now will later be last, for the times they are a-changing.
This is vk3sl testing.
You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination. Your next stop, the Twilight Zone.
Morning, Mr. Castle.
Hello, Ned. Any mail today?
Got it right here.
Where's my registered letter?
Registered? Oh, I didn't see one.
The one that says I won the Publishers House sweepstakes.
Oh, well, I'll keep an eye out for it. I entered that one myself.
Instead, I get only bills.
Yeah, the check's in the mail, Mr. Castle. Say, maybe tomorrow, huh?
Maybe. See ya. Another bill, and another, and another. Edna, what about the gas and electric?
What?
The gas and electric bill. How many months is that?
2 months. That's one you'd better pay.
That's the one I can't pay.
Mr. Castle?
How are you, Mrs. Gumley?
Just fine, Mr. Castle.
Good. Glad to hear it.
How have you been?
Oh, can't complain.
Been having a lot of rain, haven't we?
What? Oh, yes. Quite a bit of rain for this time of year.
Well, it's good for the flowers.
How's that?
Good for the flowers. The rain, that is.
Yeah, very good for flowers.
heirloom today, Mr. Castle.
An heirloom, Mrs. Gumley. You don't say.
Oh, yes, Mr. Castle. Been in my family for years.
Has it now?
Years and years. It's supposed to be very valuable. Hand-blown glass is what it is.
Mrs. Gumley, it's just a plain old glass wine bottle. Do you know what it's worth, actually? Nothing. Not even a deposit. If you could find the store where it came from, that's what they'd give you. Nothing.
I could let it go for $1.
Mrs. Gumley, if I could spare $1, I'd give it to you. Believe me, I would. But things have been rough here. The pawn shop business isn't what it used to be. I'm so in debt myself that...
I see.
Wait a moment.
Yes.
$1 it is, then. I wish it could be more, Mrs. Gumley. I really do.
God bless you, Mr. Castle. I could kiss you.
Stop that now. It's nothing.
You're a wonderful man.
Good luck to you.
And to you.
Better days for all of us.
Mr. Castle, it's not an heirloom, you know. I found it in a garbage can. It's just a dirty old cheap glass bottle. Please forgive me for lying to you.
That's all right, Mrs. Gumley. Who knows? Maybe it'll turn out to be an heirloom. We'll just have to wait and see.
Who was that?
No one.
It sounded like Mrs. Gumley. Then I heard the cash register. What did you buy this time?
Edna.
Oh, a bottle. Gorgeous.
She said it was an heirloom.
Is that right?
She has to eat, doesn't she?
And you don't?
That's not the point.
Arthur, we're a couple of weeks away from bankruptcy.
Don't you think I know that?
Then you'd better start rubbing that bottle and pray, Arthur. Pray that a genie appears, because that's about the only hope we have left.
Oh, Edna. Edna, please.
Mr. and Mrs. Arthur Castle, suspended in that brief fragment of time before fate comes out of a bottle. Mr. and Mrs. Arthur Castle, gentle and infinitely patient people whose lives have been a hope chest with a rusty lock and a lost set of keys. But in just a moment, that hope chest will be opened, and an improbable phantom will try to bedeck the drabness of these two people's failure-laden lives with the gold and precious stones of fulfillment. Mr. and Mrs. Arthur Castle, standing on the outskirts and about to enter the Twilight Zone.
And now, The Twilight Zone, and our story, The Man in the Bottle, starring Ed Begley Jr., with Stacy Keach as your narrator.
Here, give me the bottle straight into the trash with it. If you won't do it, I will.
Wait, it's worth a couple of cents.
A couple of cents, Arthur. A couple of cents. We've got more creditors than we've got cheap watches. You promised me no more handouts.
Look, Edna, maybe all that's left for me is to try and find someone who I can feel sorry for. Can you understand that? I need to feel that I'm doing something of value. Maybe a man can be a failure for only so long, and then it catches up with him.
Arthur, you're not a failure.
Of course I am. Look around you, Edna. In this clutter, you see the legacy of 100 years. My grandfather owned this shop, and it finally broke his heart. Then my father, and it killed him too. The meanness of it, Edna. The shabbiness of it. The hand-to-mouth of it. This isn't just a hock shop where you buy the pitiful little residue of other people's failures. It's a shrine to failure. That's what it is. It's a mausoleum, a burial ground for people's hopes.
Arthur, please don't talk like that.
Edna, what happens to us anyway? What happens to us? Have you ever thought of that? We're not old people, and yet this place is making us old. There should be years ahead of us. Years without having to make do, scrimping and counting and picking over checkbooks and budgets and final notices and old bills and...
Careful, Arthur. You're knocking things over.
I don't care about the bottle. I'm trying to explain...
Arthur, what's all that smoke?
I don't know, but it seems to be coming from inside Mrs. Gumley's bottle.
How do you do?
Where did you come from?
From the bottle, of course.
The bottle?
It fell to the floor, the cork popped out, and here I am, at your service.
I'm supposed to buy that. What do you take me for?
Rather than go into any lengthy generic explanation of my existence, suffice it to say that I am here, and I am, in fact, a genie.
In a business suit, with a derby hat and a walking stick. And you expect me to believe that you're a genie?
That's quite correct.
There's no such thing, except in fairy tales.
On the contrary, I am living proof, in a manner of speaking.
Arthur, who is this man?
You'll have to do better than that, mister. I don't know what you're trying to pull here.
Very well, I'll get right to the point. I can offer you 4 wishes with a guaranteed performance.
4 wishes? Aha! You got that wrong. It's supposed to be 3. In every book I ever read, it was 3 wishes. Better get your story straight.
That's a myth, I'm afraid. Oh, they may have offered only 3 in the beginning. But for some time now, 4 has been the operant number. Some considerable time. It's proven to be the most effective option. Think about it. Too few, and a person may waste the opportunity of a lifetime, so to speak. Too many, and, well, the possibilities can get out of hand. Frivolous, in other words. The opportunities tend to cancel each other out, if you see my point.
You've got your answers down, I'll give you that.
I think I better sit.
Well, Mr. Castle, Mrs. Castle, what do you have in mind?
Arthur, I don't understand. What's happening here?
Don't worry, Edna. The bottom line is he's a con man. He has to be.
But I see him. Don't you?
I don't know what I see. Could be some kind of hypnotist or something. Remember that guy on television? He made an elephant disappear.
Child's play. Smoke and mirrors.
You're telling me you're not a magician?
Nothing of the sort. I grant 4 wishes to the owner and then go back inside the bottle for a century and a day.
100 years. Inside a bottle.
Plus 1 day. A nice touch, don't you agree? Until a summons comes from the next owner.
What if there isn't another owner?
But, my dear fellow, there must be. Consider the span of a man's life. 70. Isn't that the tradition?
So let's say nobody calls you, or it's the wrong day.
Ah, you've hit the nail on the head. I've learned to cultivate patience beyond anything you can possibly imagine. All of which means you're extraordinarily lucky today, as am I, in a manner of speaking.
Maybe he's from the lottery.
We didn't play the lottery this week, Edna.
Just as well. The odds are quite unrealistic. What I'm offering you transcends any lottery the world has ever known. They're strictly nickel and dime operations in comparison.
I have to think this over.
Take your time. Interesting shop you have here. Chinese vases, Tiffany lamps, bric-a-brac of every sort. Mostly imitation, of course. No offense. Nonetheless, I have the distinct feeling I've seen some of these items before.
How could you if you haven't been out of the bottle in 100 years?
I meant the originals.
The originals? How old are you?
If I told you, you wouldn't believe me. Nice silver cigarette case. Faux Victorian, isn't it?
My uncle's. He passed it down from his great-uncle, who bought it in Liverpool in 1914.
Is that what he said? How much?
Take it. Get back to the subject. What else about the wishes?
Oh, yes. Now, I think the business at hand is for you and Mrs. Castle to decide the nature of your 4 wishes, keeping in mind, of course, that each wish is irrevocable. Once made, it is fulfilled, and once fulfilled, it is a matter of record. It can only be altered by yet another wish. Clear, Mr. Castle?
Clear enough. I think we better call the police.
Why not wish for them? I can bring you Scotland Yard, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, or every bobby in the City of London.
That won't be necessary.
Is it the police you want?
No. That's not what we'd wish for.
Arthur, are you out of your mind?
Go ahead, Mr. Castle. You were saying?
Well, if I had a wish...
You believe him?
Just for the sake of argument, let's say that I wanted that broken glass in the case over there. Let's say I wanted it to be fixed.
The glass display case?
Unless that's too hard for you. I broke it cleaning up the other day. One whole side is cracked.
Is that all?
It's too expensive to replace and impossible to glue together. Impossible.
Would you like to make it official, Mr. Castle?
Arthur, be careful with this man. You don't know what he's after.
Well, Mr. Castle, is that your wish?
Yes, that is my wish. I want the glass in the case to be repaired.
Very well, then.
Am I dreaming? It's a magic trick. It has to be.
No, you're not dreaming, Edna. I see it too. It's like new. How did you do that?
Next.
What?
Well, Mr. Castle, you have 3 wishes left.
3 wishes. 3. Edna, 3 wishes. Anything we want. Think, Edna, think. What do we want?
Why, I don't know.
I asked you to think.
I'm frightened.
A new shop, Edna. An expensive shop on Fifth Avenue. We could have that just for the asking.
But Arthur...
Or travel. Take trips. We could see the places we could never afford to visit, like Paris or Rome or even the South Seas. We could take a cruise around the world, first class.
Surely there's a catch.
Oh, money. $100,000. $200,000. $1 million. We wouldn't have to grub anymore. We wouldn't have to sit here and waste our lives away.
Arthur, it isn't right. There's something unholy about it.
Clothes, Edna. Expensive clothes, jewels, a beautiful house. No more worries for the rest of our lives.
Are you sure?
Edna, we don't have to rot away here. We can have anything we want. Anything, Edna. Money.
Money? The simplest of all requests, Mr. Castle.
Simple? For you, maybe.
How much would you like? In what denominations?
Edna, how much do we want?
I don't know. I just don't know.
$1 million. That's what we want. $1 million.
In what form? Gold? Silver? Of course, there are market fluctuations in precious metals, so there will naturally be an element of risk. Platinum shows the least movement. Diamonds are relatively stable at the moment.
Forget it. Cash only. All negotiable U.S. currency.
Very good. Denominations?
No 50s or 100s. Make it $5 and $10 bills. Recent dates and no counterfeits.
Where would you like it? Savings account or checking? Perhaps a numbered deposit in a Swiss bank.
Right here.
Here?
Where I can see it.
On the floor?
Don't you worry about that. Just bring it here. I'll take care of the rest.
That is your second wish.
You understand English, don't you? That's our wish.
Coming right up. Oh, just one thing.
Aha!
Arthur, I told you.
Do you mind terribly if I...
If what?
If I smoke.
Is that all?
Of course, if you prefer otherwise. I see the no smoking sign on the wall.
No. Go right ahead.
Very well. Now then, Mr. Castle, where were we? Ah, yes, I was about to say, ask and you shall receive.
What's that? Where's it coming from?
What is it? It's money. Look at it. A rain of money. Edna, $1 million, Edna. $1 million. There you are, Edna. Champagne.
I think I've had more than enough.
I suppose you're right. How can I work if I have a hangover?
Well, you could take the day off.
Edna, you're a genius. Why didn't I think of that? We both could. Close up the store and...
And what? I wouldn't know what to do, would you?
Well, let's see now. It's a beautiful day. We could take a walk together in the park.
Oh, Arthur, I'd have to get dressed up, and I don't have any comfortable shoes.
Or we could go to a restaurant. Any restaurant at all.
But we've already had lunch.
Then we could take in a film downtown, or a play, a musical. Do you know how many years it's been since we did that?
And leave all this money out like this? I don't think that would be a good idea.
So, we're prisoners here. We can't go anywhere, do anything, for fear that someone might steal it from under our noses. What good is it?
Oh, Arthur, we can put it in the bank.
That's tomorrow. The bank's closed now. Unless...
What are you thinking?
Call your brother on the telephone. Tell him to come over here. He needs money for his operation, remember?
Oh, I like that idea.
And while you're at it, call Alvritton, the butcher, and Mrs. Tiola, and the checker at the market.
And that nice girl at the bank.
And the dry cleaner. And here, look in the book. All our old customers. The ones who can't afford to get their valuables out of hock. Call them all. Every one.
What will I say?
Tell them we need their help.
It's a miracle, that's what it is.
I couldn't believe it when they called.
Where did they get it all?
They're such wonderful people.
And so generous, too.
Hey now, what's going on here?
Hello, Officer McLaurin.
The line's halfway down the street.
Yes, it certainly is.
They're having a fire sale in there, or what?
It's that nice Mr. Castle and his wife.
What about them?
They're redeeming things.
What things?
All kinds of things, as long as you've got your pawn ticket.
Even if you don't, they remember.
They're redeeming us. That's what they're doing. It's the loveliest gesture I've ever seen.
Hi there, Mrs. Gumley. Beautiful day.
Indeed it is.
Your turn, Mrs. Gumley. Go on in.
Hold on. Where'd you get that fistful of money?
Right inside, officer. From Mr. and Mrs. Castle, bless their souls.
What are they doing, running numbers?
Nothing like that. Strictly legit.
You're telling me they gave it to you?
Sure did. Enough to pay off their tab at the butcher shop and then some. Plus the next 10 years in advance.
And whereabouts did they get this bankroll?
Don't ask me. But their ship sure must have come in big time.
The horses, was it? Or the lottery?
I heard it was the sweepstakes that came in the mail.
No, it was their cousin. He died and left them a fortune.
Well, we'll just have to see about that.
They're not breaking any laws.
I haven't had my turn yet. You're not going to arrest them, are you?
Maybe not. But I'll keep a close eye on the situation. In the meantime, I know someone who might be real interested in all this. Don't you people go blocking the sidewalk now.
Here you go, young man. Pay off that mortgage now.
I will.
And then go have yourself a ball. You and your lovely wife.
I don't get it. Why are you doing this?
Do I need a reason? Every time I come in your gas station, you look under the hood.
Oh, that's nothing.
Check the air and the tires, all of it, without my asking. I say that's worth something. It's worth a lot these days.
Oh, thanks, Mr. Castle.
Bye now. Who's next?
Mrs. Gumley, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Here, you take this now. I want you to have it.
So much.
Don't you worry about it, Mrs. Gumley. Anything you need, anything at all, you come to us. There's more where that came from. For you, plenty more.
God bless you both.
This is
Here you are, Reverend. It's honest money.
vk3sl.
You can get the church painted.
Oh, that would be so nice for the parishioners.
I know how long you've been taking up collections.
Yes, but I'm afraid it's never enough.
Well, it is now. Consider it done.
Well, thank you. I'll consider it a donation.
But why are you giving me this money, Mrs. Castle?
Why? Because you're so bright and cheery every time I'm in the market.
Oh, Mrs. Castle, thank you.
You put this in the bank now for when you get married.
And for you, Mr. Jacks?
And you too, Mrs. Tiola. You have a nice day now.
Don't mention it. Buy a round for everybody. On me.
Is that all of them?
Oh, for now. Put the close sign in the window, would you please?
Of course, dear.
Whew. Now that's what I call a day's work.
You did wonderfully well, Arthur. I'm so proud of you.
You know, Edna, I don't care how we spend the rest. I feel so good right now, seeing all those happy faces.
I know. It would be nice to get away for a while, though.
I agree. Sometime in the sun. Nothing fancy.
How much do we have left?
Look in the box. It's still practically full. We didn't put a dent in it.
Your father would be proud.
Rest his soul.
And your grandfather.
Tell me your opinion about something, Edna.
If you like, dear.
I'm wondering, do you suppose I still need to carry on the family business?
Well...
We don't have a son or daughter.
I'd say you've more than done enough, Arthur. All these years.
Even if we did have kids, I'd rather leave them money to start their own business. Something with a future. What about your cousin's children?
Oh, that would be a wonderful present.
And what about you? You've been so patient all these years. What would you like?
Well, first, of course, you're going to retire. No ifs, ands, or buts. And then, wherever you'd like to live, Arthur, as long as we're together.
Of course we'll be together. You think I'm going to take up with a young floozy?
Oh, no, I don't think that. You wouldn't. It's not in your nature. But you're tired. You need to rest.
We both do. Rest and live. Yes.
Good afternoon, Mr. Castle.
Do I know you? Let me see. Harry Joy's son.
I don't believe we've met before.
Wait. Stu Wintner's nephew. That's it.
Not quite.
Are you from the life insurance company? Because if you are, we've got your payment right here. Just let me count it out for you.
In cash. Is that all right?
That's not necessary.
Or we could write you a check just as soon as we make a deposit.
And quite a deposit it will be by the looks of all this.
I told you, Arthur, we should have put it away.
Let me give you my card.
Internal Revenue Service.
That's correct. There's a matter of an income tax, Mr. Castle.
You just send us the bill and we'll pay it. But send the bill in a hurry, would you please? My wife and I will be taking off for Europe very shortly.
Oh, could we?
Consider it done. Where would you like to go first? The Eiffel Tower, an African safari, waltzing in Vienna, perhaps?
Dancing. We haven't been dancing since I don't remember.
All that's about to change. Madame, may I have this dance?
You may, sir. My, you're looking handsome.
And you're beautiful, my dear.
Such a good dancer.
As are you. May I have another dance?
My entire dance card, if you like.
Dependents? Just a few details for the record.
Ask away. We have nothing to hide.
How many dependents can you claim?
The whole neighborhood.
They don't count.
Wait. What's that figure? The one you just wrote down?
Beginning with a sum of $1 million, taxed on the basis of a husband and wife, using the standard deductions and taking into account unpaid back taxes, approximately $907,000.
Oh, that's how much I have left? Good. Fabulous.
That's how much you owe the government.
I beg your pardon?
In addition, there's a state income tax involved, which, using thumb rule, would come to a rough figure of $35,000.
You mean hundreds, don't you?
Then there will be a matter of a 5% penalty.
For what?
If you fail to file a declaration within 30 days of today's date, but I'm sure you won't let that happen. The whole thing will amount to about, roughly, mind you, let's see here, $942,640.
Arthur, we've given away a lot of money already.
I'll figure out how much.
Fill out this form and send it to us with your check. It should be self-explanatory. If you want to use the installment plan, we'll send you a statement after your records have been analyzed. Mr. Castle?
Yeah. Send us the bill.
We'll be seeing you. Good evening to you, Mrs. Castle.
I wonder if we can appeal it.
Help me, Edna. You take this pile. 76, 77, 78.
Oh, Arthur, where's the genie when we need him? Well, how much is there?
910,535, $910,540. We gave away almost $60,000, and this goes to taxes, leaving us with this. One $5 bill. That's our entire profit, Edna. $5 whole.
That was quite a wish, Arthur. Quite a wish. And we haven't even paid the bills yet.
If you'll recall, it was my suggestion that you reflect very carefully, Mr. Castle. Very, very carefully.
Now he shows up.
Had you made a wish that took into account the taxes involved...
Look, you, plenty of sweet talk and promises and the whole thing. And all the time you're nothing but a con artist, after all. This time I want the $1 million, but I want it after...
Arthur, no more money. You've got to wish for something else.
Oh, something else then. A new store. A chain of stores.
They could burn down 1 hour after we get them.
Success?
Be careful, Mr. Castle. Success is a pretty broad term.
He's right. You can't wish for success. I've got it. How about 10 more wishes? Or 20, or...
Very clever, Mrs. Castle, wishing for more wishes. But I'm afraid that isn't permitted. Frankly, I'd be afraid to have you try it for fear of the consequences.
What consequences?
Why do you have to keep losing your temper? Why can't you think about this thing carefully and then come up with
Well, you're no help to me, that's for sure. Here we stand in the middle of this crummy little pawn shop with the whole world out in front of us and anything to wish for that we want. Anything. And you just stay on my back and...
Stop it! This doesn't sound like you. Not like the man I married. Not at all.
Edna, what's happening to us? What's really going on here?
Oddly enough, this is the normal pattern that seems to be generally followed. Great excitement, great emotionalism, and strangely enough, hard to believe though it may be, only a modicum of happiness.
Well, you've got cheap customers here. Our price is no longer so high. We're people who haven't had much happiness. People who've carried a crummy hock shop on their backs all their lives. What, Edna? Tell me, what do we wish for?
I don't know, Arthur. I just don't know.
What about it? What can I wish for now? What can come to me without tricks?
Without tricks? I question the semantics here, Mr. Castle. There are no tricks involved. There are simply normal and understandable outgrowths and conditions that go with any windfall. No matter what you wish for, you must be prepared for the consequences.
What sort of consequences?
Nothing more than cause and effect. Consider, for example, what happens when you throw a stone into a lake. The stone sends out ripples in the water. After a while, these ripples reach the shore. The bigger the stone, the bigger the ripples. And if the stone is large enough, you'll get a wave of water, even a tidal wave that could sweep you off your feet. It all depends on how much you disturb the way things were to begin with. Now do you see what I mean about consequences?
That I need something without consequences.
I'm not sure that's entirely possible.
Something dead sure, at least. Something anchored, something airtight.
I must agree, that would be the ticket.
Is there such a thing?
Sit down now. You'll give yourself a heart attack.
Edna, I think I've got it. I think I know what it is.
What, Arthur?
Power, Edna. Power, prerogatives, to be in charge of something, to be a boss, to be a leader with respect and the freedom to live as one likes. We could wish for that.
Possible. Very possible. President of a corporation? That sort of thing?
We could be sued, go bankrupt.
Warden of a prison?
That's idiotic.
Mayor of a city?
We could get voted out of office, and then what?
Wait a minute. I know what. Head of a country. Ruler of a whole country, that's it.
Who can't be voted out of office.
What about it, Jeannie? I want to be the head of a country who can't be voted out of office.
Is that your wish? Do you want to be more specific than that?
Hold on. Let me give it to you this way. I want to be the head of a foreign country who can't be voted out of office. But it must be a major country, well known, not some poverty-stricken third world place, and not in ancient times either, in modern
test transmission from
How do you define modern?
Within my lifetime, and developed. A fully industrialized country with millions of educated people where I'm very popular and can't be voted out of office.
No problem.
You sure?
Of course I'm sure.
I mean, what about the consequences?
Consequences, Mr. Castle, I've already told you. You run the risk of consequences no matter what you wish for, like the ripples in a stream. There's no predicting, at least not with absolute certainty, where they'll lead.
All right, then.
Go ahead, Arthur. Wish for that. The thing you said.
I want to be the head of a foreign country, just as I've described it. Now it's your turn, Genie. Take over.
As you wish, Mr. Castle. As you wish.
You'll forgive me, sir.
Yes?
I have not slept in 3 nights now, but the situation is as I described. The first Ukrainian army has cut us off from the south. There's no sign of Vink's reserve army. There is no reserve army. We are simply doomed. There is no hope for us. From now on, it is just a mass suicide. Did you hear what I said? They are already in Berlin. What about it, Führer?
Führer?
What do you want to do?
Why do you call me that name?
Here is what you asked for. Very quick and very painless, mein Führer. And we have the gasoline for you and Fräulein Braun when you're finished.
Head of a country. Can't be voted out of office. It's the end of the war and I'm in a bunker and I'm Heil Hitler!
It's almost the end.
I've given them the poison. They'll take the bodies out into the courtyard and burn them when it's finished. Have the gasoline ready.
I won't take the poison. I wish I were back where it all started. I wish I were Arthur Castle again.
Oh, Arthur, you've broken it.
What? Broken what?
The bottle Mrs. Gumley brought in.
Why? I have, haven't I? Not poison, an old wine bottle.
Let me sweep it up for you.
I can do it.
It had no value anyway.
No value at all. I'm here. My final wish. I'm really here now. Where is he?
Where is who?
You know who I mean. The...
And why would he be here? You've had your 4 wishes, remember?
No, yeah. Well, I guess I'm a 4-time loser. What do you expect? I just wish he doesn't come back. I wish...
There you go, wishing again.
Right. Why should I? Why did I? Look at what we have here, Edna. We have a business that's been in my family for 3 generations.
And each other. We have each other.
I'm going to stop wishing for a while. You know, Edna, I can't afford a brand new life.
Neither can I.
I think I'll just give the old one a new paint job.
You know something, Arthur? I think that's a very good idea.
What is it?
Look, your first wish, the glass case, it's not broken. It's still repaired.
So we came out ahead after all. Nothing's ever a complete loss, is it?
Careful, Arthur, with the broom handle.
Well, we were ahead.
Now you have more glass to clean up.
You know something? I don't mind cleaning up any of it. Not at all. In fact, not at all.
A poet named Lowell said it, something to the effect that granting our wish is one of fate's saddest jokes. Lesson to be learned out of a few fragments of broken glass in a trash can. And a word to the wise, to the garbage collectors of the world, to the curio seekers, to the antique buffs, to everyone who would try to coax a miracle from unlikely places. Check the bottle you're taking back for that deposit, because the genie you save might be your own. Case in point, Mr. and Mrs. Arthur Castle, fresh from the briefest of trips into the Twilight Zone.
Back to the Twilight Zone after these brief words.
You are about to enter another dimension, a dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind, a journey into a wondrous land of imagination. Next stop, the Twilight Zone. Hi, this is Stacy Keach. I'd like to take a moment to tell you about our Twilight Zone website at twilightzoneradio.com. At twilightzoneradio.com, you'll find the latest...
And at that point, we'll do a fade. That was our latest episode of the Twilight Zone. Very thought-provoking, as they always are. This is vk3sl saying cheers for now and look forward to your company tomorrow.
Plus links to other fascinating websites.